Good morning. We are on a road trip to Utah, and as you can see, we have the trailer hooked to the back because when we get there, I am buying my dream Jeep. So we are currently in Eastern Oregon. I'm not exactly sure where because there's no towns anywhere around here. But if you look over there, those snow-covered mountains in the background there, those are the Steens Mountains. And between this little hill here and those mountains in the background over there is the Alver Desert. And then I don't know what this beautiful valley here is in between, but that's where we are. So, I have a long history with Jeeps. I've had a lot of them. My first vehicle when I first got my driver's license was a 78 CJ5. I've had 3 different Willys, 2 CJ2As and an M38. I don't think I've ever owned a YJ, but my current Willys has YJ suspension, so we're going to count that. My wife has her 2016 4-door JK, but my favorite of all was my Jeep TJ. The TJs were made from 97 to 96. And to me, they are the perfect blend of modern day comfort and reliability, but still have kind of that old school Jeepiness. The only problem is they're really short, really small inside. I'm really tall. I like to carry a lot of gear with me, and I like to bring my family along. Now I love that TJ, and I did a lot of work to it to set it up exactly how I wanted for my type of use. But when I started getting really serious about my business and really trying to leave my job and go out totally on my own, I made this tough decision to sell that Jeep and put the money into my business. Because as anyone who's ever started a small business knows, the basic definition of starting a small business is selling all your toys in order to start the business in hopes that one day the business makes enough money that you can afford to buy all the toys that you sold to start the business. But enough of that serious talk for a second. Let's look at the reason we walked all the way up here, which is to get a better view of this valley. And it is gorgeous. This Eastern Oregon is just some beautiful country out here. You can't beat this. Also, I'm glad I chose to walk to the top of this hill and not that one, because it's a lot bigger. I mean, but is it not just absolutely gorgeous out here? I mean, look at the flowers. They're all waking up for the morning. All of these petals here will turn up here for the sunlight in just a little bit. You got these ones over here getting ready to open up. Just absolutely amazing country out here. But back to the Jeep while we hike back to the truck, which is way down there. So yes, I said dream Jeep, but it's not some big fancy, like crazy fancy rock crawler thing. It's actually a 23-year-old Jeep with like 280,000 miles on it or something like that. So yeah, it's pretty baller to go buy your dream Jeep, but we're balling on a budget here. So before I tell you what it is, we need to go back through the history of Jeeps for a minute and tell you why it is. So my first Jeep, which was also my first vehicle, CJ5, great Jeep, great out in the woods, very short little thing. They had the CJ7, which was a little longer and kind of more closer to the wheelbase of the YJs and TJs that came later on. But the CJ5s and even the CJ7s, they were small. They were very small inside, had not much room for anything as far as cargo and people. So Jeep solved that problem in 2 ways. They made the CJ6, which was basically a CJ5 cut in the middle and stretched out like 1.5 feet or so, just right in the middle. And then they made the much more popular Jeep Scrambler, CJ8, which they extended the wheelbase a little bit and extended the body a lot. So it was still pretty maneuverable, but also had a ton more interior room. The problem with that was that by only extending the wheelbase a little bit and extending the body a lot, you ended up with a whole lot of rear overhang, like what a lot of modern SUVs and pickups have. When you're out rock crawling, dropping off rocks and all that, you end up hanging up the back bumper and the fuel tank that's right under there on a lot of stuff. Now fast forward a few decades, and they now have the Jeep TJ, which is what I had. Well, one of the Jeeps I had, and had the same problem. Great off-road vehicle, no room inside for people or gear. So they came out with the TJ Unlimited, which is also known as the LJ. And the LJ is the same thing as the Jeep Scrambler, where they extended the wheelbase a little bit, but extended the body by a whole lot. So you had a bunch more interior space, but you also gained a big overhang out the back of the vehicle that hangs up on stuff when you're off-roading. And unfortunately, those two models, the TJ and the LJ, were the only options that Jeep came out with for that generation of Jeep. So you either got the awesome departure angles of the TJ or the interior room of the LJ with no really in between. So the ultimate combination and solution to all of that is a model called the TJ6, which is a throwback to the old CJ6, where the Jeep is actually stretched right in the middle. You have the same awesome departure angle as the TJ, but all the interior room of the LJ. There's only one problem with the TJ6, and that is that Jeep never made one. So what is a guy to do if he wants a TJ6 that Jeep never built? Well, you build it yourself. Or you can just wait till somebody else builds one and then has to move out of state to somewhere where there's like really no wheeling or anything like that, and then they decide to sell it, and then you go buy it from them and thus save yourself a whole bunch of time. So that's what we're gonna do. Now my goal was to build the TJ I had into a TJ6. That's what I always wanted to do to it. It was set up exactly how I wanted other than that, and I love that Jeep. But I never had the time or the money to take on a project like that before I ended up selling it to start up this whole business thing. But now, many years later, one popped up for sale on Facebook Marketplace that is built as close as I've ever seen to how I would want to build one if I could just pick and choose from the list. So we made an impulse decision to hop in the truck, drive to Utah, and make this happen. But enough of me jabbering. For now, it is back down the long and lonesome highway across eastern Oregon, down into Winnemucca, Nevada, then out across 80 through the Bonneville Salt Flats, where we're going to try to find some BLM land somewhere west of Salt Lake City area to set up camp for the night. That way we can pick up the Jeep first thing in the morning. Which, luckily for you, first thing in the morning is going to be in about 2 minutes. So I have to wait a whole nother day. You don't. Good thing about being in the middle of nowhere is if you want to stop and get a drink out of your fridge and there's no good place to pull out, you can just stop. There's nobody here, so just stop, get you a drink, and get going again. So we made it to Battle Mountain, Nevada, where we're getting some fuel, and then once that's full, we'll go inside the Maverick and get some unhealthy snacks, because that is what makes the road trip world go round, and then we will keep heading out to Bonneville Salt Flats. So I am not having good luck with the whole food thing. I went in the Maverick, I got a sandwich, came back out of the Maverick, got in my pickup, opened the sandwich, got back out of my pickup, and threw the sandwich away because it was not good. I didn't have to taste it. It was just like, it smelled like food poisoning. So I came across the street here to the pizza factory, as you can see, pizza factory, thinking get a slice of pizza. So I go in, and you know what they don't have here is pizza. And I asked, like, is it going to be ready soon? And they said, oh, we don't have pizza. So I got a bag of Chex Mix and a milkshake, and that's going to be lunch for a while, and we're going to keep heading east. Alright, change of plans. I spotted McDonald's on the way out of town, so we got McDonald's. Now, McDonald's is never ideal, but here's why it works so well. See, McDonald's is never good at all. It's mediocre at best, but you go there expecting it to be mediocre, so when you consume it and it is mediocre, you're completely satisfied because that's what you were expecting to get when you went there, much like my videos. So we made it through Nevada, and now we're at the Bonneville Salt Flats, and I had no need to stop here, but I figure some of you might not have seen the Bonneville Salt Flats, so there's the Salt Flats. It looks like salt and it's flat. And there's some camp set up out that way. I don't know if they're doing speed runs or anything like that, but that's where they do all the world record stuff. So now that we've seen that, back to the truck. Still got 8 tires, so eastward we go. So we made it to some BLM land out here to the southwest of Salt Lake City, where we're going to set up camp for the night. And if you know anything about YouTube, you know that this is where you have to do the whole camp setup sequence. I don't think there's ever been a off-road or overlanding type of channel that has ever not done it, so I'm pretty sure it's mandatory, and I guess that means it is my turn. So here we go. Yeah, I've never really been one to follow the crowd, so all done. And then also, I got the Jeep, so let's check it out. So I have bought and sold a whole lot of vehicles over the last decade of owning this company, and I don't think I've ever been so excited as I was to come out and buy this one. So I charged out here pretty hard across the desert, got here way ahead of schedule, and luckily was able to go pick it up tonight instead of waiting until tomorrow morning. So let's check it out. This is a 1999 Jeep TJ that was stretched in the middle right here to make the tub the exact same length as the Jeep LJ, so that all the Jeep LJ tops and accessories and all fit. You don't need any weird custom stuff. But what that does is give you a 108-inch wheelbase, which is awesome for off-road, and this super good departure angle right here, instead of having this axle up here farther and then all that being just overhang. It has the 4.0 6-cylinder Jeep engine, 5-speed transmission. It's got JK axles front and rear with a rear locker, 37-inch tires, and the best part of this whole Jeep is the inside, because it has all this room back here for Riley to sit comfortably and not be piled with gear. Ignore the truss kit and the half doors here. Those are just extra parts. And then in the back, it's got this CJ7 drop down tailgate and this storage box back here. Look how much room there is for gear back here that's all secured under this cover, so that Riley's sitting up there in their car seat, no chance of stuff bouncing up and hitting or anything like that. Tons of storage, plenty of room for the family, and even room up on top here for the dogs to sit up on top so they can come along too. So this Jeep solves that problem I had of not having a Jeep that I can comfortably drive up and down the highway, then still get out and do some serious off-roading and recoveries. Plenty of room for gear. My family can come with me comfortably and safely, which is the most important part of all. And it's a very well-built Jeep. The guy who built it, the previous owner, did an awesome job on it. It is way nicer than I would have done if I had done my TJ back when I wanted to. So this worked out really well. I am really, really excited about this thing. Okay, so we got camp set up, and that noise you're hearing in the background is not some weird camera noise. That's, I don't know what sort of crickets or whatever are up in these trees, but they're making a lot of noise. Either way, I'm gonna put the camera down and just stare at this thing for a while, because that's all I really want to do right now. And then get a good night's sleep up in the rooftop tent, and then in the morning head towards home. So that's the new Jeep. Let me know what you guys think of it. I have not been this excited about a vehicle. I don't know when. This is probably the most excited I've ever been about a vehicle. So let me know what you guys think. Said I'm just gonna go stare at it for a while, then get some sleep, and we'll see you guys on the next one.